You were told hard work pays. It does. It pays whoever owns the field you're digging in. So ask yourself one question that stings. All those years of effort, were you building your own field or someone else's? Sit with it. Most men never ask, because some part of them already knows. Run the check right now. In your own workplace, picture the hardest worker you know. Now picture the highest paid man you know. Not the same person. They're almost never the same person, anywhere, in any building on earth. And you've walked past that fact every day for years, without once letting it land. So today, the trap gets opened. Why effort was never the currency, no matter what they told you. The math they hid, discovered by an Italian economist over a century ago. The levers that actually move a life, and the bridge from where you're standing to the first one. And the last part is the strangest, because when I reach in to open this trap, something in you is going to fight me, and that resistance has a name, and it's the real lock. Stay to the end. That's where the shovel finally goes down. Now, before your loyalty to the grind files an objection, hear the frame. This is not a video against work. Effort is real, effort is fuel, and no lever on earth moves without it. This is a video about what your effort is attached to, because fuel poured into a vehicle takes you somewhere, and fuel poured onto the ground just burns, warm and bright and gone. Most men spend 40 years burning premium fuel on rented ground, and call the smell of it virtue. Machiavelli wrote one sentence, that every working man should have carved over his desk. He who is the cause of another's greatness, he warned, is himself undone. He watched it at the scale of kingdoms, the brilliant captain who conquers for a prince and is discarded, the minister who builds a throne and kneels before it. But the law doesn't care about scale. Every hour of brilliance you pour into a position you don't own is greatness manufactured for someone else. And the manufacturer of another man's greatness, Machiavelli promises you, across 500 years, ends up holding the shovel and the plaque, and nothing else. So before we open the trap, drop 3 words in the comments. I stopped digging, past tense like a decision, because you learned last video how those work. Then let's look at the hole. Denny has been first into the parking lot for 11 years. 6:45, every morning, lights on, before the building manager. He has trained 2 of his own bosses, trained them, watched them get promoted past him, and received a plaque for 15 years of service that his wife hung in the garage. Denny isn't lazy, and Denny isn't dumb. Denny is excellent, inside a structure built to keep excellence exactly where it is. Here's the hole, part 1, the hole, and the plaque they nail above it. Here's the parable. And it's not a parable, it's your building. A man discovers he's good at digging. He digs faster than anyone, cleaner than anyone, never complains, never stops. And the system does exactly what systems do with an excellent digger. It gives him a deeper hole, more digging, bigger digging, digging with a title on it. Senior digger, digger of the month, a plaque, a pizza party, a 3% raise. 20 years pass. He is now the finest digger anyone has ever seen, standing at the bottom of the deepest hole in the company, and the view from down there is dirt in every direction. And he has never once asked the only question that mattered. Who owns the hole? Look at the mechanism, because it's arithmetic, not injustice. When you're paid for effort, your income is hours multiplied by rate, and both numbers have hard ceilings. Hours cap at what a body can survive, and you're already near it. Rate caps at what your role is budgeted for, and you don't set the budget. So the effort game has a mathematical maximum, and it's low, and it's visible from where you're standing. And the cruelest part is that playing the game harder doesn't raise the ceiling. It just gets you to the ceiling more exhausted. Meanwhile, watch what your excellence actually purchases. The reward for great work in every effort-priced system is more work. Finish fast, Receive the overflow from the man who finished slow. Prove you can carry weight. Become the place where weight gets put. You are not climbing. You are being loaded. And the loading is called recognition. And you've been trained to say thank you for it. And run the promotion math, honestly, the one hope the whole offers. The next rung pays 15% more for 40% more weight, and it's still a rung, still priced in effort, still capped, still owned by someone else. The ladder was never a way out of the hole. The ladder is standing in the hole. Climbing it changes your altitude, never your address. And there's a quieter cost accruing down there, worse than the capped wages. The hole shapes you to itself. 20 years of excellent digging produces a man whose skills are hole-shaped, fluent in this company's tools, this industry's corridors, this owner's preferences. And the deeper the fluency, the narrower the man. The market calls it experience. Look closer, and half of it is dependency wearing a suit, because skills that only work in one hole are not assets, they're chains with a salary. The position player builds the opposite, capabilities that travel, relationships that outlive employers, a name that works in every building. Same 20 years, one man becomes more valuable everywhere. The other becomes indispensable in exactly one place, to exactly one owner, which is another way of saying owned. So here's the first directive, observation only, and it will sting. Tonight, calculate your ceiling, maximum realistic rate, times maximum survivable hours, minus what living costs. That number, that exact number, is the best case scenario of the effort game, the trophy for winning it completely. Write it down and look at it. Most men have never once computed the prize for the race they're running, because some part of them already knows. But a trap this obvious should catch no one. So why is everyone in it? Because the trap is baited, and the bait was chosen by people who understood you perfectly. Part 2. The bait. Ask the cold question. Why does effort get worshipped in every school, every office, every graduation speech, when effort demonstrably isn't what gets paid? Follow the rent, like you learned in the ledger video, and the answer arrives fast. Effort is what the structure needs from you. So effort is what the structure praises in you. A building full of men optimizing for visible hard work is a building that runs beautifully for whoever owns it. The worship isn't a conspiracy. It's just every system, everywhere, rewarding the behavior that serves it, with the one currency that costs it nothing: praise. And look at the currency you're actually being paid in, because it's not only money. It's status chips. Hardest worker in the room, the guy we can count on, first one in, last one out. Feel how good those chips feel, and then notice what they buy. Nothing. They are tokens, redeemable for more of themselves. And the exchange rate to actual position is 0, and everyone above you knows it, which is why the chips flow downward so generously. The praise economy exists because praise is cheaper than equity. And the men who run things pay their bills in the currency that appreciates, and pay you in the one that doesn't. And notice the selection trick hiding inside it, because it explains every promotion that ever confused you. Systems praise what's legible, and effort is the most legible thing in any building. The early car in the lot, the late light in the window, everyone can see it, so everyone can grade it. Judgment isn't legible. Positioning isn't legible. The quiet relationship upstream, the rare skill compounding after hours, none of it shows on the floor. So the floor's applause flows to the visible, while the actual elevations flow to men who were legible to owners instead of to peers. Watch your own building with this lens for 1 month. The applause and the promotions go to different people, reliably, and once you see the split, you can choose which audience your hours perform for. Here's the deeper hook, the one set in childhood school. We said it before in the machine video, graded compliance and effort, because school's product was employees. But feel what that training actually installed. It installed the equation effort equals worth. Not effort equals output. Effort equals worth, moral worth, the kind your father's voice measures. So now, decades later, working hard doesn't just feel productive. It feels righteous, and its absence feels like sin. And a man will defend his righteousness far harder than he'll ever defend his wallet. The trap's genius was never the cheese. It was wiring the digging itself to your sense of being a good man, so that every hour in the hole pays you twice, once in wages, once in virtue, and the virtue payment is the one you can't walk away from. Picture the two employees at the same review. The first worked brutal hours all year, visible, loyal, exhausted, and receives the chips, the warm words, the 3%. The second worked reasonable hours, but spent them where position gets built, the rare skill, the relationships upstream, the visibility to the people who own holes, and receives the offer that changes his address. The room calls the second one lucky. The room always calls position luck, because the room was trained to see only effort. And what your training won't let you see, you're forced to call luck. So here's the second directive. Starve the chip economy, quietly, for the next month. Stop collecting effort praise. Don't announce the hours. Don't perform the exhaustion. Don't let first in last out be your flag. Bank the energy instead, because in the next part I'll show you the math of where it should go. And the math is going to make you angry. Part 3. The math they hid, and the Italian who found it. In 1896, the economist Vilfredo Pareto was studying land ownership in Italy, and he found a pattern that wouldn't go away. Roughly 80% of the land belonged to roughly 20% of the people. Strange, until he checked other countries, other centuries, other kinds of wealth, and the pattern held, everywhere, stubbornly, 80 and 20, give or take. It's been confirmed ever since, across sales, profits, outputs of every kind, and it goes by his name now, the Pareto distribution. A small slice of players holds the great majority of the results in essentially every game humans play for keeps. Now hold that against a second fact, one you can verify in any workplace on Earth. Effort is not distributed that way. Effort follows a bell curve. Most men work fairly hard. A few work very hard. A few coast. And the gap between the hardest worker and the average worker is maybe 2 to 1, 3 to 1 at the extreme. Nobody works 100 times harder than anybody, because nobody has 100 times the hours. And there it is, the proof, sitting in plain arithmetic, where it's been sitting your whole life. Outcomes differ by 100 to 1, effort differs by 2 to 1. Therefore, effort cannot be what's producing the outcomes. Something else is carrying that 100. Something that does distribute, like Pareto's land. And it has a name, position, what you own, what you control, where you stand in the flow, what works for you while you sleep. The landowner and the digger can put in identical hours on identical soil, and the harvest splits 80-20, forever, because the split was never about the hours. It was decided by the deed before anyone picked up a tool. And feel what this does to the story you were raised on, because it doesn't just dent it, it inverts it. Work harder is real advice inside a 2 to 1 game. You're not in a 2 to 1 game, you're in a 100 to 1 game, playing the one variable that's mathematically capped at 2. It's like being told to win a chess match by gripping the pieces more firmly. The grip was never the game, and every year you spend improving your grip is a year. The men playing position pull further ahead, politely applauding your work ethic as they go. So here's the third directive, and it's a reallocation, not a resignation. From this week, take 1 hour a day, 1 out of the grip game and into the position game. Not added to your day, taken from it, from the overtime that buys chips, from the polish nobody asked for, from the feed. 1 hour every day, aimed at what Part 4 teaches. That single reallocated hour is mathematically worth more than all your remaining overtime combined, and in a moment you'll see exactly why. Now stop, because there's a fight we need to have first, and it's about your father. Your father told you hard work pays. My father told me the same. So were they lying to us? Here's the midpoint question, and it splits every comment section it touches. When your father said work hard, he was describing an economy where effort and loyalty got repaid. The same company for 30 years, the pension, the handshake that held. Was that economy real for him, and is it gone for you? Or was position always the game, and the fathers just never saw the deed either? Post your answer, and the harder one underneath it. Is telling a young man today, just work hard, passing down wisdom, or passing down the shovel? Take a side, and say which economy you're living in, because the men in these comments are living in different ones, and watching them argue about it is the whole lesson. My stake plain. Before the levers, I think hard work pays off is the most profitable sentence ever sold to working men. Profitable, mostly for the men it works for. The work was never the lie. The payoff address was, here's where the payoff actually lives. Part 4. The levers, and the bridge you build without quitting anything. A lever, keep the definition cold, is anything that breaks the link between your hours and your outcome. Anything that works while you don't, scales while you sleep, or gets priced by its rarity instead of its duration. And there are 4 kinds available to a working man, no permission required. The first lever is rare skill, not more skill, rare skill, because pay follows replaceability, not difficulty. You learned that guarding your method. The man who does what thousands do excellently is priced like the thousands. The man who does what 50 can do is priced like the 50. So the question is never, how do I get better? It's what combination can I build that's scarce? The skill stack, the 2 or 3 competencies that are common alone and rare together. The operator who can also speak, the builder who can also sell. 1 hour a day compounds a stack shockingly fast, because almost nobody is deliberately building one. The second lever is ownership, a piece of upside, any piece, equity where you work if it's real, a margin business on the side, however small, an asset that pays without your presence. The size matters less than the category shift, because the first dollar that arrives while you're asleep rewires something permanent in a man's head. He stops thinking in wages and starts thinking in deeds, and the deed mindset, once installed, hunts on its own. The third lever you already built and didn't call a lever. Your name. 13 videos ago you learned reputation as an asset in other men's vaults. Deals arriving pre-sold, trust extending before you enter. Understand it now in this grammar. A heavy name is position, pure position. The only lever that assembles itself from behavior alone, no capital required, and it multiplies every other lever you'll ever hold, because levers get offered to men whose names arrive first. And the fourth lever is other system scale, riding distribution you don't own but can use, the audience, the platform, the network upstream, the room where deals originate. You don't have to build the river to put your boat in it. You just have to stop standing in fields with no river at all. Now the bridge. Because this channel doesn't sell the romantic quit. You keep the job. Hear it plainly. The job is not the trap. The job is the funding for the escape. And the man who tortures his income for a dream has just traded one hole for a deeper one with worse lighting. The bridge is the reallocated hour from part 3, run through one filter, applied daily. Before any block of discretionary effort, ask, does this hour build my position or decorate someone else's? Chips, decoration 11th revision, nobody asked for. Decoration the skill stack, the small asset, the name, the upstream room position. Root the hour there, every day, and defend it like the walled block you built in the time video, because that's exactly what it is. Then let the arithmetic work. A position hour compounds, an effort hour evaporates at midnight, and 300 compounded hours a year, aimed at levers, will move your address further than 3,000 evaporated ones. You've been outworking everyone. Now you're going to outposition them on 1 hour a day, and they won't even see it happening because it doesn't look like work. It looks like a man who leaves on time, and take the honest print on the label because the gurus never include it. Levers carry variance. Effort pays small and certain, every 2 weeks, forever. Position pays large and uncertain, in lumps after lags, with dead ends included. The skill stack that doesn't catch, the small asset that dies, those are real, and any man selling you levers without variance is selling you a lottery ticket with extra steps. That's exactly why the bridge is built the way it is. The kept job is the certainty that funds the variance, the floor that lets you swing without desperation. And desperation, you already know from the money posture video, is the one smell that ruins every deal. You're not gambling the mortgage. You're compounding one protected hour on a floor that can't collapse, which is how every durable escape in history was actually built, quietly, funded, and boring right up until it wasn't. And that brings us to the last door, the strange one. Because everything I've said is checkable, the ceiling math, Pareto's distribution, the 2-to-1 cap. And some part of you is still resisting, still muttering, yeah, but, still reaching for the shovel. Good, follow me in, because that resistance is the actual lock on this trap. Part 5, the trap is loved, and the lock is your name on the shovel. Here's the truth underneath the whole video. The digger doesn't stay in the hole because the hole is locked. Holes don't have doors. He stays because 20 years ago, somewhere between the praise and the plaques, hard worker stopped being a description of what he does and became the answer to who he is. It went in the file, the identity file, the one you learned to open last video, and it went in deep. Because unlike the verdicts other people wrote in there, this one feels earned, feels moral, feels like the best thing about him. And now the trap doesn't need walls because escaping it registers from inside as self-betrayal. Ease feels like theft, rest feels like decay. A profitable hour that didn't hurt feels like cheating, and a brutal hour that built nothing feels like honor. The wiring is exactly backwards, and it's load-bearing, and it's yours. Watch the lock operate in real time. Suggest to a proud grinder that he reroute 1 hour from effort to position, and watch what answers you, not his calculator, his identity. Who has time for that? Some of us have real work to do. Must be nice. That's not analysis, that's the file, defending its favorite page, and it defends hardest in the men it's costing the most. Because the deeper the sunk decades, the more expensive the sentence "this was never the game" becomes to say out loud. And you'll meet the lock personally, in the first week, in a form nobody warns about. The position hour won't hurt, and the not hurting will feel wrong. You'll sit down to build the thing you own, thinking, reading, designing, reaching upstream, and a low guilt will arrive on schedule, whispering that this is soft, this is selfish. Real men are on the floor right now. Name it when it comes. That's not your conscience. That's the wiring, the old equation running. Pain equals worth, and it's exactly backwards, because pain was never the price of value. Pain was just the signature of the old identity, proof of digging, not proof of building. Some of the most valuable hours of your life will feel, from inside, like getting away with something. Let them. The discomfort of ease is the sound of the file being rewritten, and it passes. And what's on the other side is a man who measures his days by what they built instead of what they cost him. Machiavelli's line closes here, with its teeth showing. He who is the cause of another's greatness is himself undone, and the final undoing isn't the wages or the plaque. It's that the arrangement gets inside, and the man ends up guarding the field he'll never own. proudly for free against his own escape. So the escape, the real one, runs through the machinery you already own from last video, because this is an identity operation, not a scheduling one. The decision made out loud. Present tense. I am a builder of position, not I'll try to work smarter. Not I should think about leverage. A filed verdict. I am a man who owns what his effort builds. Then the engine, the daily position hour as the minimum, the one-line ledger asking, what did I build today that I own? The relapse sentence ready. For the mornings, the old file grabs the shovel. That's not like me anymore. And the reframe that makes it hold, hear it clearly. You are not abandoning hard work. You're promoting it. The work ethic your father gave you was never the problem. It's the finest engine you own. It's been bolted to a treadmill. You're moving it into a vehicle. Same effort, same iron, same early mornings, finally attached to wheels. And the man who works that hard at position, that man, the system has no plaque for, because the system has no idea what to do with him. So here's the final directive, the whole video in one motion. Tonight, the ceiling math and the decision, on the same page. This week, the daily position hour, installed and defended, aimed at one lever, the stack, the asset, the name, or the room. And the ledger line every night, what did I build today that I own? Run it for 90 days before you judge it. The chips will slow, the praise will cool, a few diggers will mutter, and somewhere around day 60, something that pays you will exist that didn't exist before, small, yours, and awake while you sleep. That's the sound of the shovel going down. Nobody drops it for you. So look at the trap, opened on the table, the hole, effort ceiling, hours times rate, both capped, the ladder standing inside it. The bait, praise as the currency that costs them nothing, virtue wired to the digging itself. The hidden math, Pareto's 100-to-1 outcomes against effort's 2-to-1 spread. Position carrying everything, the grip was blamed and credited for. The levers, the rare stack, the owned upside, the heavy name, the borrowed river, and the bridge. One reallocated hour, funded by the job you keep, filtered by one question, position or decoration. And the lock, the love trap, your name on the shovel, opened the only way identity locks ever open, by the man inside deciding first. And the midpoint fight, wisdom or the shovel, settle it now with both hands. Your father gave you wisdom, real wisdom, about the engine. The economy quietly swapped the vehicle out from under him, and nobody sent either of you the memo. So honor him properly, keep the engine he built in you running exactly that hard, and put it in something you own. That's not abandoning his lesson, that's finishing it. Here's what changes across the year this takes. The exhaustion changes flavor first, because tired from building and tired from digging are different animals, and you'll know the difference in a month. The ceiling disappears next, not dramatically. Just one morning you run the old math, and notice it no longer describes you, because one of your numbers stopped being capped, and the strangest change comes last. The system's praise stops landing. The chips arrive and feel like what they always were, tokens, and you'll smile and say thank you and root the hour where it goes now, because a man who has felt a lever move has a new definition of heavy, and no plaque on earth outweighs it. Say it one more time and file it. I stopped digging, past tense, the shovel's down. If this one broke the treadmill for you, you're one of us now. Subscribe and stay close, because the next video hands you the counter manual for the moment they come at you in public, the disrespect with witnesses, the test every man faces, and almost every man fails in the first 3 seconds. There's a cold protocol for it, 5 steps, and once you own it, the public shot becomes the shooter's problem. Don't miss it. Compute the ceiling, reroute the hour, build the lever, hold the identity, and let the men still down in the hole call it luck. The way the trained have always described the free.